So welcome to Philadelphia Walks PTSD. My name is Sharon Cole, or Sharon, or Cole, whatever you want to refer to me as. In a good way, don't care. Rat, pig, horse, cow, dog, dinosaur, lizard, hippo, rhinoceros, squirrel. That's a good one. I keep forgetting that one. All these words could potentially mean something different to any different group or cult like gang members or what have you. Who knows? Everybody has a different definition, and we could totally change the definition. I've had clients who claimed they had a dog that was a cockapoo, which would be a cocker spaniel mixed with a poodle, and they're usually medium-sized puffballs, almost like Benji-like or what have you. And instead, their dog would look like a dachshund mixed with a golden retriever. And it's like, wow, it looks like a hot dog with long hair. Are you sure it's a cockapoo? Oh, it is absolutely a cockapoo. I'm like, really? Because I've watched a couple cockapoos, and this one doesn't look anything like it. And see, so anyway, that's confusion is part of trying to subjugate someone, trying to mess with someone's brain, trying to put them down, and so forth and so on. So anyway, today is day 132 of my one video each day, 365-day campaign raising money for a life lost, stolen, raped, tortured to extreme, extreme, extreme. Can I say extreme one more time? Give me another extreme. We are talking deadly harassment. Somebody came out here bloodlusting, trying to scare the shit out of me while also trying to confuse and scramble my brain so badly. Normally, someone would go crazy. They'd either wind up in Kensington on drugs trying to cope with life, or they would go running off to a mental institution, or they'd hurt themselves or others. It's a serious problem that this happened, which is why I'm on here every day until somebody fixes it. So it all started the fourth Monday of January 2011. Historic snowstorms, blizzards, and so forth and so on all played into it as well. Some people think it's biblical. I don't know about that. I'm not really sure what to say. There were a lot of people walking around, and they consciously knew that they were hurting me, and I don't consider that biblical. So unless you look at the Jesus thing, the Jesus complex situation or what have you, I don't think that I'm Jesus, but I do wonder why people took this to the nth degree. So the fourth Monday of January 2011, I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment by a series of orchestrated events, and a whole situation was created to scare the heebie-jeebies out of me. My brain never would have thought that people would orchestrate something or I wouldn't think that way, but now, over time, I started to learn that a lot of people orchestrated skits, scenarios, and so forth and so on in order to hurt me badly. I don't know why. I don't think I'm special at all. I think I was specifically targeted for some bizarre experience, and we are talking lay it on thick. It went over the top. And they know it. And I'm waiting for my payout. Thank you. So I did believe I'd be murdered. I thought it was the last night of my life. I was trembling, convulsing in fear, PTSD out the They even hired rapists to come in. And I know it because they would just show up where I work. Hey, call me. I know they send people in, and I have to document everything that happens now. So anyway, and we're talking years and years and years, and I'm still here, still queer. So anyway, I tried to call my sister that night. We got some sirens out here. I called her first after my voice was operational. At first it wouldn't. I was frozen and stunned so much that I couldn't speak, and my muscles went limp, and I was like this. Called her, then she convinced me to call the police. Finally called the police. They came out kicking stones as if they were on the Andy Griffith show. Gee, what do you think it is? I don't know. What do you think it is, Andy? I should have offered them tea and cookies. Like I was such a problem. Having to call it, they had to come on out. They didn't look in the basement or anything, which is where I thought the problem was. I thought someone was coming up from the basement. What time is it? 8:02. And 8:02 we're in sync on microwave and laptop. There's usually like a 30 to 40 second delay on one of them. So anyway, and see how it interrupts the train of thought. But they came out and didn't do much, and I was afraid to ask for too much. I literally was on the steps shaking and trembling, and they were barely doing anything. I did check with internal affairs. But many years later, it took me a long time to figure out what to do. So many things unfolded. It was like a movie. I know they say PTSD people will see the world like a movie, but I actually think there was more to it. People created, I had PTSD, but people added to it with a surreal experience. They know they're wrong. They know they did it. The people who set this up, they know they did it. They want to discredit people who they attack or whatever it is or set up. And most people would only get so far and you would just like quit. Somewhere out there, there are helping hands to make sure I got this far. And there are people who would say probably because we don't know this Sharon at all. This is not the Sharon of 10 years ago. What's going on? Well, someone decided to support me more than you guys. And there's an army of you guys out there, minions, death junkies. And you'll continue playing your games and you'll only get so far in life. I want to see how far you actually have gotten playing your games. So I wanted to talk about bosses today, but being made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment, very big deal. And then after that, the games commenced, and it was like a shit show out there. We are talking the skits, the scenarios, the setups never stopped. I couldn't walk around the city without people harming me. People I didn't even know, some people I knew, friends who I thought would be supportive weren't really. And this city calls itself liberal, but I would say, nuh-uh, because liberal people would claim to know how to support people. I didn't get any of it. It's like inverted, upside down, and opposite. So I'll get on to the like a boss situation. So one way to gang stalk someone is to always act superior, even if you have zero place to act that way. So you have people who go through life and maybe they have a lot of job experience, or maybe they have a lot of education. People gain experiences in different ways. Not everybody can get an education. So I don't really but people have job experiences, life experiences, hard knocks. Sometimes hard knocks even comes through academic land. You'd be surprised how abusive the world is wherever you go. But gang stalking is a little different. So I've worked in places where there are people who need to subjugate people by feeling like a boss. They're overly bossy, and there's a whole feeling that comes with it. And you just want to punch people in the face who act like they know more. And you're like, they haven't done anything to earn that boss title per se. Even in a workplace where it's designated, the boss is Audrey, it is not Aaron, or so forth and so on. And you have some pipsqueak coming out of school trying to boss around other employees at, say, Whole Foods or Starbucks or what have you. It's disturbing, and it's designed to get under people's skin. And these people think they know stuff, but where are they? They're still in Gainesville, Florida, or Sarasota. They can't get out of home states. It happens quite often that people who are not qualified at all try to act like the boss, and they will keep you doing it against someone in order to raise themselves up, or they love the feeling of telling people what to do. I'm actually the opposite. I don't like telling people what to do. I actually like treating people like more equal. And even if I were in a boss role, which I have been, I've been a senior editor at a publishing company. And in that role, I wanted people to feel supported. I didn't want them to feel belittled in any way, shape, or form. So I would support. I wouldn't act like, I need you to get this into me by deadline. There are people who do it without even a friendliness, or they try to subjugate people very hard in a bad way. I would be supportive as a boss or in a certain role, or I would even want to lift people up. I would see that someone was constantly being, attacked per se. I was in a senior editor role. And when I got there, I was like, I wonder if so-and-so wouldn't mind writing a column, because I always feel like she's put down. And in a way, I wound up with a senior editor role, and this other person who had been there for a long time didn't. I don't know if she expressed interest, but she wasn't a senior editor ever. So I kind of asked her privately if she wanted to write a column. If not, no big deal. But if she wanted to, great. She could show off her skills, or like in a way that allowed her to feel like she had more respect in the workplace. And in fact, we put the column in. I would do that for people who are constantly put down, because I know what it's like. And there are people who act like the boss and they have no life experience and they have no place to do so. It is disturbing how desperate these people are. They suffer from inferiority complexes. They would assume that you feel inferior. No, they are so inferior, they have to hurt people through their bossiness. So is someone a boss, or are they bossy? And bossy people harm people all the time, and it is a gang stalking tactic. How to solve that problem, I really don't know. If you work in certain places, maybe if you're lucky, you have a good human resources person in place who can help. I've never worked anywhere, not to negate, and I personally have never, ever worked in a place that had a good human resources department that could really fix a problem. But I do believe that I've experienced life in a very special way. Like when you add it up and you see the employers and you see the names of buildings, in my case, it's like we're certain people like put in a certain group and we're being experimented upon. It is that bad. And it could happen. It could. I grew up in Delaware. Biden's entire career was in Delaware. So it's possible there are a lot of guinea pigs in Delaware. No offense to him. He may not even know this. But did Washington really put people in a petri dish on some level? So I'm just saying, divorce, desegregation, and drugs are the report card for Delaware. I'm liberally minded. I'm a liberal minded person. So I would forgive those who played into it too much. But or I would try to understand why it all happened and so forth and so on. But it is a concern. Are some people on a special path? I think normally, if you experience these things, and if, say, you're a gang stalked person, it's possible you can reach out to your superior or the human resources person and they can fix it. Because it can be pretty intimidating to try to talk to one person. Because what if people sort of play into a dynamic and collude together? And it becomes a very icky situation. I've actually written letters to corporate headquarters for certain places that I've worked for because the situation was so bad and I saw so many people. I would be hurt, but I would often be in situations where, in order to earn extra money, I worked at places that I normally wouldn't. And I would see that the entire staff would kowtow to someone who didn't deserve it, who didn't deserve to be put on a pedestal in their minds. And I am proud, and I don't know if anybody knew that I did this. I am proud, technically, to stand up for people who are afraid to show up to work. I would think, oh God, please, no, not that person on schedule. I don't want to have to deal with that stupid bitch. I wrote many letters to headquarters, so that could be a solution. It could be that mysteriously behind the scenes, people will try to fix it without causing too much of an awareness of who's ratting who out. It's not ratting someone out. If an entire staff doesn't want to show up somewhere because someone's being a complete manipulative biatch and bullying people, or say a ring, because a lot of places like Starbucks and Whole Foods hire people who are part of rings. In the fast food world, and Starbucks is fast food, they have drive-throughs. In the city, you don't see drive-throughs, but in normal suburban areas, they have drive-throughs. Fast food, just more expensive and technically better ingredients, but still, rings get hired in these places. And people who are innately part of a ring, even entire communities can be rings. You could wind up you think it's a special community, maybe it's a whole bunch of family rings. They innately know how to operate against someone who really isn't part of a ring. And one thing doesn't look like the other, boop, boop. I don't look like your normal fare. Not to And I don't mean that to sound snobby. I actually, if I need money, I will try to do the best that I can to work wherever to get that money, despite my experience, my age, and my education. But I'm one of those people, someone would walk in and go, this one thing doesn't look like the other, one thing, and employees know it. Ooh, we got someone to play with, we got someone to play with, we got someone to play with. So anyway, that's part of gang stalking as well. So I'm really proud that I have actually written corporate communications. I've written letters to the editor. I have written police. I have written all kinds of people. I don't care any longer. I was tortured so badly. I was tortured so badly, I will tell because I could see what was going on. And there are people who wouldn't admit to it. Oh, no, 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 no. I love showing up when so-and-so works. People live in fear. And they shouldn't have to fear or dread showing up to a stupid job like Starbucks. If you have to actually work at Starbucks or Whole Foods, you should at least halfway be okay showing up there. But people live in fear and they're subjugated and they don't have many options and they have to show up to these places. I am proud that I have told on a lot of people because of the environments that they ruined for the regular people who just need to show up for a freaking check. Okay, all gang stalking is all out there and it shows up a lot, especially in family rings. And their family rings can seem really nice. They go to special colleges and they can seem healthy, but they innately operate like rings and they know how to push people down or psych them out too much. There are healthy people out there doing things, and then there are unhealthy people out there, and they can even look healthy. So, anyway, that's it. See you next time and have a great day.